to check yourself, okay? It's time to check yourself before I do. No, but seriously. What's up, y'all? It's Taty and I'm back for another video, and as you can see from the title, today we're gonna talk about them insecurities, girl. You didn't have them for long enough. Seriously, I feel like every day I'm either hearing someone tell me about their insecurities, seeing the insecurities, y'all be telling on yourselves with these insecurities. It's every day. At what point are we as a people gonna stand together and say, I am the baddest on every block? You know what I'm saying? No, but in all seriousness, like, y'all deserve to feel that way. So I want to make sure I come on here today, we really get to the nitty gritty, okay? We really figure it out, okay? And we're gonna get you feeling better by the end of this video. All right, we got a lot to talk about, so let's just get into this video. But first, if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, what are you doing? We're gonna give you a couple seconds to do that. Did you do it? Good. Now you can watch the video and welcome to our family. Also, follow me on my socials. This is where you can participate in polls, all that fun stuff, or whatever. Let's just get into this. So you're insecure. We've all been there. I don't want any person, not nan person, in the comments trying to act like you ain't never been insecure, trying to say, actually, let's get this misconception out the way. I feel as though people be thinking that because, like, I'm confident now, or you see somebody confident, that they ain't never been insecure in their life, they ain't never had no problems. Like, that is not the truth. Most of the time, the people that you do see that are either overly confident, which I don't really believe in anymore, so I feel like that arrogance, that cockiness, people like that are typically very, very, very insecure. So don't be like discouraged by those type of people, because typically they frightened. But a lot of people who are just very confident in themselves have had to overcome a lot of those insecurities to the point that now they've made peace with themselves and they feel that confidence, right? The first thing that I'm gonna say is getting to the root of why you're insecure. Everyone kind of has different reasons, you know what I mean? There might be a specific trauma, there might have been a specific incident in your life that started it. So this is where journals are amazing. You need to sit back and start writing. Like, ask yourself questions. When did I first notice my insecurity? Where was I when I first noticed my insecurity? What events were going on in my life? Who was present? Who wasn't present in my life? Those are questions that you really need to ask yourself to get to the bottom of where you are rooted in insecurity. I can even say from my own personal experience, I feel like I started facing insecurity once I went to a school that their beauty standards were different than what I was used to. So I think that's where I started feeling insecure, in the sense of like, I almost don't belong here. It was a sense of like, you're an outsider. So you guys know that I have been there and I've done that work to be like, this is where I started feeling this and this is why I started feeling this. Now we can unpack that, okay? It's very hard to stop behavior that you don't know where it originated from. You need to know where the root of that weed is, okay? Where's the head of this snake, okay? Now, this can be really difficult to do sometimes on your own. So there are several resources for you to be doing this, whether that's self-help books, whether that's journaling alone, or whether that's getting professional help. Now, I'm aware that professional help is not available or accessible to everybody, and that is where today's sponsor comes in. Today's sponsor is BetterHelp. So basically what BetterHelp is going to do is it's going to assess your needs, and then it's going to match you to your own professional licensed therapist. And this is not like a drawn out process. You can start communicating with your therapist in as quick as 48 hours. This is not like a hotline or a crisis line. This is not a self-help situation. This is you getting professional counseling securely online. They have a broad network of over 15,000 counselors, which may not even be locally available in many areas. So there is a large variety to find the person that is best for you. Also, the service is not just US, it is available for clients worldwide. Also, a lot of times I know that weekly time frames and stuff like that doesn't work for everybody, so you can log in and message your counselor at any time. Or if you do like that, you can schedule the weekly phone calls or the video calls, whatever you need to do, so that you don't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. You don't have to wait it out. You can get what you want when you need it. They're also committed to making sure you have your perfect match, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. Also, I know that the pricing of therapy and counseling in general can be very off-putting, but BetterHelp is more affordable than offline traditional therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants to make sure that you're not waiting months and months and months to get into some therapist office. They want you to start living your happier life today, as well as I do. Get that help, girl. Get it now, okay? You guys can visit betterhelp.com/Taty. That's betterhelp.com/Taty, T-A-T-Y, and join over the 1 million people that are taking charge of their mental health today with professional help. Also, I partner with them, so you guys can get 10% off your first month by going to betterhelp.com/Taty. Now, continuing. Then it's time to check yourself, okay? It's time to check yourself before I do. No, but seriously. So this is where you have to really get into yourself and really understand how you are facilitating those negative behaviors. Sometimes we get so comfortable in those negative feelings of insecurity and sadness and this and that, that's all we know, so we kind of keep feeding into that hole. We are behaving and doing things that kind of put us further into that feeling, that make that feeling even more intense. It's kind of like when you're sad and you put on sad music instead of trying to like alter what you're feeling. As healthy as it is to allow yourself to sit in your emotions, insecurity is a little bit more than an emotion. So I don't want us to be feeding into those negative behaviors. For example, let's say you're insecure about your body. You want that IG model body, right? You wanna be an IG baddie, okay? You probably shouldn't be going and like lurking on IG baddie pages. You probably shouldn't be following like a million IG baddies. Like, you have to stop that negative behavior, because you're really looking at them because you're craving to reinforce the idea that like they look better than you. You're craving to reinforce the idea that you would be better off if you looked like that. You're craving to just reinforce those insecurities, so you want to go do it. You want to go look at it. It's really like a rush. It's like the rush low-key of like feeling sad again, or kind of reinforcing those thoughts that we have about ourselves, those negative thoughts about ourselves, because it's easier to reinforce negative things that we've already taught ourselves about ourselves than it is to teach ourselves a completely new way of thinking. For example, if you've been riding a bike a certain way that's been kind of dangerous, but that's all you've known how to ride that bike for, it's easier to keep doing that and like keep riding it like that than it would be to teach yourself a whole new way to ride a bike again. But in the long run, it's more beneficial for you to teach yourself the proper way to ride that bike. Same way with you right now. It's easier for you to keep feeding into that negative bike ride, that negative habit, but it would be so much better for you to reevaluate how you've been doing things. Take a look at your day-to-day behaviors and be like, okay, out of all these things that I'm doing on a day-to-day, what is beneficial and what is not? What is helping me grow out of negative behaviors and thought patterns, and what is not? What is facilitating them? You need to be the most important thing to you right now, and therefore that means having self-discipline. That means halting things that no longer serve you. That means checking yourself. That means coming into a new version of yourself. That means all of that, okay? Now that also includes comparison. This is what I feel like you guys hear all the time. Comparison is the thief of joy. There's nothing you gain from comparing your life to the next, because at the end of the day, that's not your life. I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's such a waste of time being like, oh, look what they're doing, or look what they have, or look who they are, or look what they look like. Well, you don't. Now what are we gonna do about it? And that's the tough love that you need to hear, because at the end of the day, you can get surgery, you can bring pictures of her to the doctor and this and that, but you will never look just like her. I think now we're getting deep. I think where a lot of you might be feeling this is because you see the lifestyle that comes with it. Not only are you seeing like, oh, what this person looks like, but you're seeing like, it seems like they get more attention, it seems like they're more successful, they have more money, this and that. These are facade, okay? These girls be sad as heck, okay? You're seeing what they have, and it's like, now it's past what they look like. It's like, okay, if I look like this, I would have this life. And that's just not true. Still don't know what's going on behind closed doors. She might be more miserable than you. Let's even get past the point of like looks. Like, even maybe you're comparing grades, maybe you're comparing charisma, maybe you're comparing the fact that this girl walks into a room and steals it with personality. You're never gonna have it, babe. All of us are different. No personalities are identical. Things can be similar, you can have similar traits, but nothing's gonna be identical. You just need to figure out what traits that you have in your personality that you're suppressing. What traits are really great in you that might be able to take over a room that you haven't really come into. For example, are you really funny but you're scared people are gonna laugh at you? Come into that. Allow people to laugh at you. It's that fear of rejection. It's that fear of people laughing at us, people not understanding us, people not agreeing. Like, you have to let the fear go. I think fear and insecurity are like so hand in hand. Like, they're right there. You gotta let it go, babe. You live one life. Like, if they didn't like your joke, then they didn't like your joke. Next, like someone did. You know what I mean? You did. So just move on. All you need to do to match that, so to say, is to step into yourself. Don't try to be someone else. You always want to try to be the best version of yourself, because you're never gonna be someone else, but you can be a better version of yourself. See if someone else has allowed you to feel these insecurities about yourself, because that is something I will never accept. Y'all know who the comedian Cat Williams is. He be spitting low-key though. He had like a comedy special or whatever, and I remember he specifically said like, oh, like girls be like, oh, you messed up my self-esteem, and he is like, how can I mess up self-esteem? It's self-esteem. Like, it's how you feel about you. And as much as it's like a kiki ha ha ha, he's right. At the end of the day, we be giving people so much agency over how we feel about ourselves. You know yourself better than anybody on earth. So don't allow what people say or people do to now alter what you know to be true about yourself. When people are constantly, you know, bullying you or harassing you or saying the same things about you or saying this and that, literally just mirror them. Like, literally just be like, look how insecure you are. You literally are just snitching on yourself. That's what I was saying to you earlier in the beginning of the video, where I said a lot of y'all be telling on yourselves. For example, the type of people who are always like, oh, the body, but it's plastic though, but she bought it though, but who cares? It's her body now. It's like you're insecure that your body doesn't look that way, or that maybe men are looking at her, maybe your man, no tea, no shade, is looking at this girl. So instead of you having to cope with that, you instead try to find reasons to make yourself feel better. You're instead like, well, it's plastic. Like, you have to find something negative so that you can feel more whole. You don't want to be that person. Even the saying of like, oh, you think you're all that? No, you think I'm all that. I've said this a million times. You have to be able to peep people's projections. A lot of people have deep-rooted insecurities that they're constantly gonna project onto you. If you show an inkling of confidence, an inkling of something that you want, you have to learn how to be a shield to those things. You need to learn how to reflect. Like, you truly need to be able to stop internalizing. And when I see people internalize, that's where I see you being unsure of yourself. Because if you were, you wouldn't take those things to heart. That wouldn't even make you second guess how you feel about yourself. For example, if you know you're a loyal person and somebody says you're disloyal, that would just be like a, okay, do you want to talk about you feeling maybe disloyal? That would be like a, all right, where are we getting that from? Because you know that to not be true about yourself. But then I'll see a lot of people, someone will say you're disloyal, and then it'll be like, now you feel like, they said I'm disloyal and da-da-da. Who cares? You don't think that you're disloyal, do you? Womp womp womp. Everything is always about being sure of yourself, and that takes a lot of work. Like, there might be things that you aren't sure about. Am I disloyal of a person? Let's look at my behavior in the past couple years. Let's look at my behavior with friends, with family, with relationships. Have I been a loyal person? And just assess that. Also, there's gonna be things that you always just like probably don't love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not love this certain birthmark, you might not love whatever it is, like, but that's where you have to reframe how you feel about those things. So that's where that reframing comes of like, okay, I don't like this birthmark because I think it's ugly. That's where you need to reframe, you know what, this birthmark makes me who I am, so I think it's a beautiful part of myself because I'm a beautiful person. Period. It's literally as simple as that. It just takes the work of like telling yourself that and then working on believing it. Those are affirmations you need to tell yourself every day. Those are things you might want to journal about every day. Look at yourself in the mirror, look at that birthmark and be like, I love this birthmark. Reframing things will save your life, like, in all seriousness. Or maybe you're insecure because, I don't know, the guy you wanted you for a little bit and then chose another girl. Maybe he didn't even look your way and he went and chose the other girl, so you're like, what does she have that I don't? Now I'm insecure. Now I don't have the facilities it takes to, you know, get the guy that I want. Something like that. He chose her for whatever reason he chose her. That's it. Like, it has nothing to do with you. And I think sometimes that's like a grandiose like issue between us, where like, we will make ourselves more important than we even really are. We make everything about ourselves. It's like, oh, he chose her because I wasn't enough. It wasn't about you, babe. It wasn't even about you at all. People make decisions based off of their own experiences in life, based off of their own voids, their own ego, their own trauma and insecurities. Like, people have their own baggage. You have to stop making things about yourself. It is so tempting to do that, and I totally get it. But especially because in your head and in your life, you are the main character, right? Just like that person, let's say his name is Ethan. Ethan is his own main character. He's his main character. It's about him, okay? Also, through insecurities, find something to combat it that you do love about yourself. So maybe you don't love your eyes, but you love your nose. Maybe you don't love your nose, but you love your lips. You can keep going down the list until you find something. And if you can't find something, then you need to evaluate if you're looking for the negative in everything. Like, if you can't find one thing about yourself inside and out that you like, you're framed right now to look for the negative in every part of yourself. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve to like something about yourself. Maybe you've been taught that. Maybe trauma gave you that. We don't know what it is. There is no way. There is not one thing inside and out that you can say, I do kind of like that. Let that combat whatever you don't like about yourself. Even if there's 50 things you don't like and there's that one thing you do like, you can be like, I don't like any of this, but I do love this. And highlight that as much as you can. Have something that you can always come back to. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. I enjoyed talking to you guys about it. Let's have a nice discussion in the comments about it all. Again, shout out to BetterHelp. Make sure you guys go check that out and get the help that you deserve. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, turn your post notifications on. You got a lot to do. You better get to it. And I will see y'all in my next one.